Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Kitchen Tested, Scotty approved with me, Scotty, and this, my home kitchen. Today we are making scallion pancakes, one of my absolute favorite things to do to get from takeout, and we're going to make it ourselves, which makes it even better. This is a secondary video to go with my other video for duck sauce for our class on Thursday for those of you who are joining us. If you're making scallion pancakes, now is the time to do it. If not, whatever, no big deal. We're going to make crab rangoon dip together, so that's even better. So we're going to be using scallions from our windowsill, which is great. We've grown these bad boys. I have already made dough for us to roll and cook some today because this dough does take about 24 hours to make. At least 24 hours. You could probably squeeze in 4 to 12 if you really are in a rush. But honestly, plan it ahead. Make the dough. Let it sit overnight. It's just going to be so much easier to pull and work with because it does require a little bit of pulling and working with it. That being said, let's go ahead and make an actual dough together, and then we'll turn around and use the dough that I've already made. And so, let's get started. Come on with me. All right, so here is the first part of what we're gonna need. So we have our ingredients for our dough, and then we have our ingredients over here that we're gonna use as kind of like our filling, quote unquote, for our scallion pancakes. And you're probably saying to yourself, whoa, a filling? Well, it's not a filling in the sense of like jam. It's what's gonna make the dough really crispy and airy and give it lots of like flaky layers, kind of like a really thin biscuit basically. So first and foremost, right now we have in our mixing bowl, and you use your hands, you don't have to, but I like to use the mixing bowl to get it started. It's less mess and it's a little bit faster. With our dough hook, we have 10 ounces-ish of flour, which is about 2 cups of flour. And we have just shy of a cup, so it's about 7.5 ounces of warm water. So we're gonna add in half the water, and a big pinch of salt. Probably roughly about a teaspoon, maybe a teaspoon and a half, okay? I'm not even gonna bother turning this on quite yet. So I'm just gonna take my spatula and just kind of mix it up. Because this really isn't a ton of dough. And if we just put the dough hook in, it might take a little bit longer for it to pull all the flour in and whatnot. But it's already looking shaggy, which is looking good. So we're gonna add the rest of our water. And the reason why I add it in 2 parts is because sometimes it really depends on the flour. It depends on the humidity in the air. It may not need all the water. You know, it may not need all the flour. So it's good to kind of go in parts. But it's kind of like a nice shaggy looking dough. There are some recipes that call for you to like chill out and let it sit for about 30 minutes to let the flour absorb the water. But I find it kind of unnecessary for this recipe in particular. So we're gonna put our machine down, we're gonna lock it about 5 minutes. All right, it's been about 5-6 minutes. So let's take a look at our dough. Oh, nice, there we go. It's a little sticky, but it's still nice and together. That's what we're looking for. I'll give you a good look here. So, dough should have a little bit of tack to it. Sticks my hand a little bit, so that's okay. But we should still be able to mold it into a ball. And that's what we want to be able to do, right? Cool, looks pretty good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little oil, a neutral oil, canola or veggie. We're gonna put it in a little bowl. We're gonna take our dough ball here, sticky little dough ball, and we're gonna move it around this bowl so all the sides are coated and the whole ball is coated. Looks good. Much easier to work with now. So this is gonna sit overnight. Now you could use this dough right now if you wanted to. The reason why I let it sit and relax is it helps the dough relax. It's gonna be easier to roll. But like I said, I have one ready already. So I'm gonna take some plastic wrap. I'm gonna put it right over the bowl. This is actually the plastic wrap I was already using on the dough, so I don't wanna waste any. But it's really important to make full contact across the entire dough ball. That way it won't have any dry spots on the dough itself. Okay, so this is my dough I made yesterday. As you can see, it flattened out a little bit. You might see some red specks in here because I actually added some Korean style chili flake to my dough because I like a little spicy. But that's the fun thing about the dough. It's really versatile. So I'm just gonna pull my dough up. You can see after resting for 24 hours how flexible this dough is. It's pretty cool, right? So before we get into this dough, we're gonna make our quote unquote our filling or our brush. If it's nice and smooth, with that oil, it doesn't stick too much. I mean, it leaves a little bit of a residue here, but it's nothing crazy. But it's got great texture. Look at that, it stretches beautifully. All right, so we'll put this back in our bowl for now. Let's get our mix started. So in my pot here, I have a 1/4 cup of oil, just a neutral oil. You can use butter or lard or anything you'd like. I like to use oil only because, I mean, it's already something I'm using and it's gonna help make these layers stay pretty consistent. And in my bowl here, I've got about 2 tablespoons worth of flour. And this is when you can have a little bit more fun. Turn my pot off. You can add whatever you like. You can add just black pepper or salt or cumin or coriander or 5 spice or Szechuan or whatever you like. Whatever flavors that you want in your scallion pancake, you can put into here now. I'm gonna use a little bit of 5 spice. Probably about a teaspoon worth. A couple of cracks of black pepper, because I like it. Small pinch of salt, that's it. Our oil was nice and hot, starting to shimmer. Gonna pour it right on top of our flour. It should bubble a little bit. Yep, nice. So depending on how big you like these, you can make about 4 to 6 scallion pancakes. I'm sorry, 6 to 8, my apologies, of these scallion pancakes per recipe. And what I'm gonna show you right now is show you how to make one and then how to store one, okay? So I'm using a cast iron pan. I'm gonna turn my cast iron pan on. Ooh, there she goes. I'm gonna turn about medium-high heat, hit it with some neutral oil. Let it start going, because that's how quickly we're gonna make a scallion pancake, all right? So I'm gonna take my dough out. And if you notice, I'm not using flour, right? I shouldn't have to. We're actually just gonna use oil, but I'm gonna use oil in the bowl, put the dough back in. If it starts to stick a little bit too much, you just put it back with some oil. And it shouldn't stick too much to your board. So we're gonna cut this into about 6-ish even pieces. I'm gonna cut one in half, put it back. I'm gonna make this guy into a little log and kind of stretch him out a little bit. And then we'll make this one into about 3 even-ish looking pieces, right? Okay, this one I like that one. Let's do that one. So a little oil on the board here. So basically what we're gonna do, I'm not really gonna use much of a rolling pin until a little bit later, okay? So we're gonna have our scallion pancake down, and we're just gonna kind of press it. Flatten it out. If it folds, it's okay. Just kind of flatten it back out. Basically making like a little pocket for it to live in. If it feels like it's sticking a little bit, a little oil in your hands. Or you can use spray if you want. Just kind of top touch everything. Flip it back over. Doesn't have to look pretty or perfect because we're gonna roll it up. Okay? You're like, oh my God, there's holes there, and that's thick and that's thin. Doesn't really matter, because I'm gonna show you why. So we've got our oil mixture. And our brush. We're gonna brush enough so everything's coated. Okay? Take a little scally, just kind of sprinkle it on. You don't have to go crazy. We're gonna go top to bottom. So this guy, we're just gonna kind of tuck and roll. Tuck and roll. So all the scallies are on the inside. Everything's nice and golden. Use a knife to kind of scrape it up. I probably need a little bit more oil on my board, but that's okay. That's good to know for next time. Kind of roll it up, kind of like a little jelly roll. So we make a nice log of scallion dough. So now we're gonna roll our dough in onto itself, right? So we have our seams towards us, so we're gonna roll with our seams. So we're gonna take a little tail, and just like you're making a pinwheel, just kind of roll it up. It's gonna look like a little city bun. Take our tail here from the end, just pop it on the bottom. Cool? A little oil on our board. There we go. We're gonna flatten out our dough. If you like a thicker pancake, this is probably good for you. Turn my pan down a little bit. So I like a little bit thinner. This is when the rolling pin comes in handy. You start from the middle and just work your way out. Light pressure. You don't need to put a ton of pressure on. You get a bunch of tears like I just had. But it's gonna expand back onto itself. So you can either roll these and cook them and eat them right away. Or what I like to do is roll them, layer them in wax paper, put them on a sheet tray and freeze them. And then I can enjoy them anytime I want, or I share them with my friends. My friends love when I drop off homemade food. So that's a good looking size. Our pan's steaming, it's ready to go. So we're gonna go ahead and make one. So I'm just gonna pull it right off the board here and into our pan. Good sound. If you're looking for a diameter, I'd say it's about 8 inches across. Okay, again, nice and oil on the board. Make sure your dough's good and oiled. I'm just gonna stretch it out by hand. Smells great. This one's gonna look a lot better because I've already pre-oiled. But as you can see too, it doesn't really matter. See, it rips a little bit, it's okay. Let's move some of that thicker part of that dough over. Hold it there for a second. Make sure it won't come back onto itself. Nice. This was a little bit wider. Oops, starting to stretch a little bit. That's okay. Let it pull back onto itself. No biggie. Sounds good. Looks good. All right. We got our paintbrush. We're going to paint this. We're going to sprinkle some scallies. Smells divine. We're going to check our pancake here. Nice and golden. Flip it over. Let's get some color. It's a good time to flip, because we'll flip it back over and adjust color afterward too. It's the same thing, top to bottom, or you can go bottom to top, as long as you're folding and rolling on the inseam. That's all that matters. So making those nice layers, making the scallion pancake nice and crispy. It seems a little thick, like this was a little thick right there. I'm just gonna stretch it out a little bit. And same thing, just roll it onto itself. Scallions fall out, no big deal, just tuck them back in. Tuck your tail under, flatten it up, off to the races. Now you don't want your dough too wet. Like this is, any more oil, this would be too wet, and I'd be slipping and sliding everywhere. We don't want that. Take our rolling pin, lightly roll it. It's gonna help do what my hands can't. Nice and round. Let it relax onto itself. Let it do its thing. We're good to go. Little wax paper. Right, onto a sheet tray. Just like so. We're gonna pop these in the freezer. And as we stack them too and line them, I usually just do one paper, another scallion pancake paper, so that way I'm not doing, not wasting too much wax paper. Because when I cook some, I usually cook it quite a bit. It'll also flatten as with all the weight from the other pancakes kind of go as well. Okay, take that out. Oops. Put it right there. Let's give it a second and we'll check it out. Take a look at our pancake here. Oh yeah, good crunch. Looks great. Good layers, nice and flaky. And it tastes great. I really hope this video was informational and you learn how to make these awesome scallion pancakes. And I hope you make them. Test them out, try them, do your own thing. Get creative. Or don't, be simple. Nothing wrong with that at all. Hope you'll see y'all soon. Enjoy these recipes and keep cooking. Thanks, y'all.